There with it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to hashtag I'm gonna say it. Special edition. We still following up on the Diddy trial. We're on day two. We're on day two. Day one was slow as expected, right? I mean, it was just jury selection, and so it was rather slow. And we'll see if today picks up any speed, which it may or it may not. But what I am going to do, I am going to hold on one second. Let me get me where I need to be. Okay, okay, get that right. So what I am going to do, I'm going to play a couple of audios from Khadijah Lynn. The first one is going to be what was reported yesterday as far as the celebrity names that were mentioned during the jury selection yesterday. And then what we're going to do is I'll play a second one, and that's going to tell you about a victim that was slated to testify. But it seems like now that uh, victim, alleged victim, may be back pedaling on it and not wanting to testify. But let me see. We're going to play the first audio is from Khadijah Lynn, and she's mentioning the celebrity names that were celebrity names that are going to be witnesses.
Diddy's trial started today, and a lot of
good morning to you all, by the way,
mentioned in the jury selection. We don't know if these people are witnesses against Diddy or if they're witnesses for Diddy. The jury selection started with basic questions asking if they have views on artists in the hip-hop community, if they have views on cooperators with immunity to testify against Diddy, if they have issues with pseudonyms or anything else. We learned that there are a lot of celebrities on this list that are going to be part of Diddy's trial. And one of the first celebrities named was Kanye West. And one of the most craziest ones that was mentioned to me was Mike Myers, the man who played Austin Powers. How weird is it? In Goldmember, Diddy's name was tatted on Dr. Evil.
I completely forgot about that. How many of y'all watched the I forgot the name of the movie he was in, but Michael Myers, where hold on, she said it and I can't remember it. Let me see.
In Goldmember, Diddy's name
Austin
was
Powers,
tatted on
and
Dr. Evil.
He has the name Diddy tattooed on him.
Another juror mentioned the name Michael B. Jordan and Kid Cudi. To hear Kid Cudi's name, that is not a huge shock.
Good morning, Florida. How you doing? Shout out to Florida in the building. The Sunshine State.
Big RICO charge that has a whole bunch of different allegations that fall underneath of it for allegedly setting fire to Kid Cudi's car and blowing it up. We also learned that one of the kidnapping allegations that fall under that RICO charge is also something to do with Kid Cudi, because they are alleging that Diddy kidnapped a female victim to try to facilitate a break-in into Kid Cudi's home. The next celebrity that we hear about is Dallas Austin. He's right here in this picture with Britney Spears, Diddy, and Cassie, and he is a music producer and he also writes music.
Okay, for y'all who don't know, Dallas Austin actually has a child, and he dated Chili from TLC. They have a child together. But here recently, we also found out that Dallas Austin had a relationship with the late Kim Porter back in high school over in Columbus, Georgia.
Also hear about the choreographer Lori Ann Gibson, who was on Making the Band. And a lot of people remember the segment on Making the Band where they actually cut off the cameras because Diddy was mad at her, and Lori Ann Gibson ended up filing a police report a couple days later alleging that Diddy was trying to hit her with a chair. We also hear about Dawn Richard, and I had a big feeling that she was going to come into play because if you read her lawsuit that she filed against Diddy, she claimed that she was there a lot of of the time and witnessed a lot when it came between Diddy and Cassie. And then the next person that was brought up was Harvey Pierre. And you know that Diddy and Harvey Pierre worked together at Bad Boy for a long time. Harvey Pierre was listed in a couple lawsuits with Diddy as a defendant, and we know most notably the one lawsuit that was filed by Anna Kane right after Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, where she claims that she was a minor and she was SA'd by Harvey Pierre and Diddy. And the next celebrity that was listed was Michelle Williams, who we know was on Destiny's Child. One of the next big things that we heard, one of the jurors that was actually excluded from being able to be a juror had a connection to Al B. Sure. He was the chief marketing officer at Simon & Schuster, and they made a book by another hip-hop artist, and it's a memoir, and it was Al B. Sure's book. And this book was Do You Believe Me Now by Al B. Sure. Diddy's team said that this book talks about the mysterious passing of Kim Porter. And Diddy's team confirmed that there will be discussion about Al B. Sure and Kim Porter at his trial. Very, very interested about what exactly we are going to hear about Al B. Sure and Kim Porter in Diddy's trial. Ultimately, that connection to this juror is what got them excluded from being a part of the jury pool. Right now, the court hearing for jury selection is on lunch break, but so far they have 10 jurors that have been included and possibly being jurors that are going to sit in on the Diddy trial, and 4 that have been excluded, which means they're not going to have a chance. I'm going to continue following everything to see if we get more celebrity names that are named by this juror as being a part of the Diddy trial or what other tea we got, but you guys let me know.
All right. I can say out of all of that, I'm really shocked by Michelle Williams. I didn't expect to hear from Destiny's Child. I really didn't expect to hear her name mentioned in any of this. Like, and I guess that's negligent to me because I just always viewed her as the quiet one in the group. We heard about Beehive all the time. Kelly Rowland, of course, you know, she had a good solo career as well, but Michelle Williams, we never really heard about. She played the background, and no shade to her. Just shocked that she would be tied into this. Now, the next audio we're going to play is about the victim that says scared to testify at trial. So I don't know who that is, but we'll see. We'll find out who that may be. Italian Girl 74, how you doing? When do opening statements begin? They only just picked the jury. Yeah, they just picked the jury. As it stands right now, it seems like opening statement is going to be next Monday. From what I was told. As far as, well, that's what they was reporting yesterday, I should say. How is Michelle Williams tied into this? Yeah, that's what I want to know too. Don't know if this means if this was part of the celebrities that's going to be witnesses in favor of Puffy Jacket or if it's going to be against him. But I'm not sure why she's in it. Like I said, that caught me off guard completely. I didn't suspect her to be in it at all. Riley Basket says, is he still locked up? Yes. He's only allowed 5 outfits to wear to court. And the shoes that he chooses, that he chooses to wear, he can wear, but they can't have shoelaces. Okay, so let's see what this victim.
We learned today in Diddy's trial that one of his victims might not be testifying against him anymore. Diddy has
name drops just started. Exactly, you're right. Winky.
RICO charge. He has 2 trafficking charges, and then he has 2 charges to engage.
He's not getting released.
Diddy has 4 alleged victims who are supposed to be the center of all of these charges and who are supposed to testify against him in his trial. But now we have learned that victim number 3 might not even show up to testify. At the end of jury selection today, the judge asked, will victim 3 testify? And the government said, I don't know. She may not show. The judge said, will you mention her in the opening? And the government said, I don't expect so. If she were here to testify, it would be around the second half. What's really crazy about this, just last week, they said that victim
Grand
number
Rising,
3
niece.
wanted to testify against Diddy with her name being known to the public, because as of right now, the only person who was testifying with her name being known to the public is Cassie Ventura, and the other 3 at the time wanted to remain anonymous. But
Yes,
now,
they're in the same
after
jail.
saying last week that she was ready to testify with her full name being known to the public because she felt like the public already knew who she was, now the government is saying that she might not show up to testify against Diddy at all. And if victim number 3 doesn't show up to testify, this will
You at work,
definitely
niece?
work in Diddy's favor. Oh, another big thing that I'm seeing being talked about by the media, but it's being reported incorrectly, is that the Cassie video is no longer going to be used in court against Diddy. When in fact, that's actually not the case at all. There is more video footage of this video that the feds are actually going to be bringing into court to use against Diddy. They're just not going to be using CNN's version
Oh,
because
okay. You
Diddy
getting ready
tried
for
to
work?
say
Okay.
that
Have a good day.
version was edited. Last week before trial, the government and Diddy were arguing back and forth about a lot of different topics, and one of the topics was the video of Diddy attacking Cassie. The government said at trial they expect to offer cell phone videos of this happening at this hotel to Cassie and 3 videos from CNN, which makes 5 videos of this situation in total. Like I said since the very beginning, this video is so much more of Diddy just attacking Cassie. They allege the videos provide direct evidence of trafficking as charged in count 1, which is the RICO charge, and count 2, which is the trafficking of Cassie Ventura. In this footnote of the same document, the government said that it did not intend to introduce the footage aired by CNN, which was the
Demetrius
same
one
thing that
time
was being
Supreme. Welcome
talked
to the
about
live, brother. How you
today.
doing?
People
You
just
doing good
thought
this
this
morning?
meant that the video wasn't going to be played at all. The government said that they weren't going to play the video that we all watched on CNN because Diddy was trying to argue that CNN edited that video and put it basically all together, and it was faster than what it should have been. The government is saying that's fine. We are not going to show the video that is aired on CNN, but we are going to show 5 different videos in total, which is some from somebody's cell phone who we know is also going to be testifying against Diddy in this trial, and then the original videos that CNN got from the source before they created their video to show to everybody. And from what I read, all of these different videos total about 10 minutes long. So the Cassie video is not out. They're just not going to play the shortened version that CNN edited and played for us all to watch. They are about to use the direct videos that CNN bought from their source, and they are also about to play videos from somebody's cell phone that was around during this incident. Nobody has to worry, even though the media is kind of flying off the handle with this, it's not exactly what it seems. The biggest piece of evidence, which we know is going to be this video, is still going to be used against Diddy in his trial. And I've said from the beginning, Diddy is not happy about this because he has tried for the longest, since the very beginning, to try to get this video thrown out every way that he could. But y'all let me know what you guys think.
Okay. So once again, as we see, this is going to be like it's like a 12-round boxing match or bout, because when it seems whenever he gets a win, whenever Puffy Jacket gets a win, then he gets knocked down. And then in this case, his win would be one of the alleged victims is scared to testify apparently, and they don't think she's going to testify. So that was a win for him. But and then he didn't want the Cassie tape, the footage that we saw of what happened. Everybody saw what happened in the hotel lobby or in the corridor or whatever by the elevators. He didn't want that shown, and his reasoning was because he said it, not me, y'all, because it was sped up, and right, so it had been altered, it had been doctored, and so they was like, okay, cool. So we won't use CNN's version, which was a win because okay, to him it sounds like all right, bet then the video's not going to be played. But then they come with that proverbial right cross, and say we'll play the unedited video. It shows everything, and so We know he was trying hard to get that not played at all, period. So, and then again, we also want to factor in that people, when the trial, we know that Cassie's very pregnant right now. And so that's something that scares the defense team, because his defense team, because people are going to see this pregnant woman and then see the video and see what's happened to her. And even though she wasn't pregnant at that time, it's still going to tug at their emotions. You understand? So, like I said, it's like a boxing match. When he lands a good body blow, they come across with a hook or a right cross or something. So again, they're gonna have to prove it. And from what she was just reporting, they're saying they have um, no problems doing that because they know they're gonna prove it. The Ricardo part of it. Now, I don't know if that's true. Like, I always wonder how one person can get a Ricardo charge, but I guess they said they know how they gonna present it to where it'll prove why that charge is going to stick. So, we'll see. Now, read a couple of updates. I think we got. It should be kicking off another um, jury selection panel soon, but I'm going to read you the quick updates that they're posted right now. It says by day's end, and this is yesterday, by day's end, the jury pool was half its size, as some were excluded for personal reasons. Opening statements and the start of the testimony are scheduled for next week. On Monday, 36 potential jurors, this was yesterday now, were questioned by Judge Aron Submaranian about their answers to a questionnaire meant to help determine if they could be fair and impartial at a trial that will feature violent and sexual explicit videos. Okay, so now that was from the closing of yesterday. To date, at 8 a.m., the report is another 36 prospective jurors were expected to be questioned on Tuesday. So, which is pretty much what we were just talking about. They're doing it like in waves or in sessions. And what we heard yesterday, or what was reported yesterday, was that each group or each wave or each session of potential juror will be, I think it says like 300 to 500. So people in each heat. So, that's what's going to take a while. And we'll see. We'll see. Those of you that's in the live, first of all, thank you for joining. I appreciate your presence. I'm going to try to give it to you as it come on and give you the updates. When a reporter comes on and talk, I'll be quiet. We'll let him speak, and I'll share the audio with y'all so you can hear what he's saying. Stuff like that. But in the meantime and in between time, my panels are open. If you would like to come up in the panel, just give your take on what all is going on. Just put a 1 in the live. I'll bring you up. No foolishness. No foolishness. If you don't have a profile picture or nothing like that, I'm not gonna bring you up. Okay, we're not gonna do that. So no disrespect, but we just And if you get up here and you start talking reckless, my moderators will remove you. So we got to keep it respectful and understand there's no right or wrong opinion. We're just giving an opinion on it, right? 47 Hike 59 says, do you think Diddy was connected to Epstein? Ah, good question. Good question. So I'm going to try to answer it this way. I don't know for sure, but I will say they have a lot of people in common in their circle. And so when I think about it that way, I would believe that, yeah, I'm more inclined to believe that they probably did have some connection. By the way, speaking of Epstein, have y'all seen the video where somebody was posting it on TikTok and they're like in the islands having a party? It's a group of people having a party, and like the guy that looks like Epstein walks up. Have y'all saw that? Like, cause I heard that he was not unalive. He was actually in hiding or on an island somewhere. I won't necessarily say in hiding. I'm sure they probably, if that is true, I'm sure they probably had something to do with getting him there. But what I'm saying is, the guy looked like him. He really looked like him. Okay, niece, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you, and it's on. Okay, so it's on this account. So I'm gonna send it to you as soon as we get off of here. And man, it's wild because that guy looks just like him, and he's just casually just walking up, like not trying to hide nothing, not like he shouldn't be there. As he the guy that looks comfortable. Now I'm not saying it is him, but I'm saying it, and I ain't saying that it's not him neither. But I'm just gonna send it to you, and you let me know, niece.
If you dunk Michelle, you could dunk a dunk.
Oh no, that's just commercial. We're not missing nothing. That's just commercial. Hold on, I missed somebody. Riley Basket said, "Is Epstein still alive and hiding on his island?" Hey, that's I listen. Just do me a favor. Those of you that want to see what I'm talking about, Riley, Alicia, shout out to you, Alicia. Hey, just send me a quick inbox because I won't remember your names, but just send me a quick inbox. And when I get done with the live today, I'm gonna share it with you, and you all can see for yourself. Riley, I think you might be on to something given to what I saw. I think so. 47 Height 59 said Epstein was taken out by who? Huh, funny how the cameras conveniently wasn't working when that happened, right? So they say. Rochelle Bestie, how you doing? Grand rising to you, Queen. Okay, yeah, just send me a message. I'll send it to you for sure. Grand rising OG to you as well. Thank you for joining the live. Um, listen. Hey, Riley. I mean, not Riley. Somebody said the okay 47 height. I don't know. It's not okay. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going. I'm gonna write your name down so that way I'll know to send it to you. All right. So I got niece Riley Basket. Somebody else said they wanted. Wasn't that Let me go up. Alicia. Am I pronouncing it right? Is it Alicia or Aisha? I think that might be Aisha. Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Aisha. Okay, I got you. I got you, love. I got you written down. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put the list right here in front of me so I know to send it. I won't forget. I won't forget. Cause look, when it was sent to me yesterday, I was all I could do was hold my mouth like because it's been speculations. And then how it all happened didn't make sense, right? It just it didn't make sense. And but then too, they have things released to where it was conversations between him and other people, and just from those conversations, he already kind of implemented some people or put their names as if they were, you know, attending these things. But you had to have somebody working with him. Otherwise, he would have done a lot of time in Florida when he first got caught. But apparently somebody was working in his favor, so He didn't have to worry about it in Florida. Keep double tapping and clapping, gifting uplift, share if you care. I appreciate it. Once again, this is hashtag I'm going to say is what we call the show. We normally talk about celebrity news, political stuff sometimes, and just real life issues. People come up and they may be going through some stuff, man, and we just try to all rally around them and help them out and get them through whatever they may be facing, hard times they may be facing, anything like that. And so now we've been doing this for what, a year and a half. So we finally here. We finally to the trial. This is what we was doing. This is what it was for. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is going to be equivalent to the trial of O.J. Simpson in the 90s. This is going to be one of those blockbuster trials where when it's all said and done, no matter how it goes, that's another thing I want to point out before we go any further. I want people to know we're not here to say he's innocent or guilty. We are here to give an opinion. And if you don't like the opinion, that's fine. If you see it another way, that's fine. You understand? Winky says you might be right. Yeah, I honestly feel that way, Winky. I feel like I remember coming when I was a senior in high school with the O.J. Simpson thing, and I just remember that every day. And see, my senior year, I had enough credits to where I only had to go to school for half a day, and so I would get out of school, come home, uh, follow the trial, you know, take me a nap, head back to school for practice and stuff like that. But it was like I get this vibe. This is going to be the same thing. It's going to dominate the airwaves. Aisha said, "Me too." See, you see what I'm saying? Michael says, "Is it going to be on TV?" Unfortunately, no. They won't allow cameras inside the courtroom, which I think is a disservice to us citizens. I do. I feel like we should be able to see it too, but the Southern District of New York don't do that. Hey, good morning, Georgia Peach. Thank you for joining my live. How you doing? Tell Danny I'm praying for him. I hope he has a full recovery as well. Italian Girl 74 said, "What? I know, right?" No audio. You can't hear it either. Um, they give updates like the news report. I'm gonna tell you who I'm following along with, so you all will know where my source is coming from. And this is Fox 5 News in New York, but yeah, they don't give audio. They only have audio, video, video footage of it, nothing like that, right? Yeah, Aisha said Diddy looking great. Yeah, fr- of course I only get to see the paintings, but from what the paintings depict, yeah, yeah, definitely fall from Hollywood where you don't have uh, a team that keeps you looking right and proper 24 hours a day. It's definitely a fall from that lifestyle. Probably Basket says, "Do you follow other cases or no?" Yeah, I do follow some. We're covering still right now. It's not a case yet, but it's something that happened. The unaliving of the twins on the mountain in Hiawassee, Georgia. Uh, I'm trying to think. We've covered more too. Of course, we talk about the Carmelo Anthony stuff. Yeah, we do it all, man. We do it all. Now, I haven't followed the Mendez brothers, but I will tell you who to follow, Riley Basket. That will definitely have you where you need to be on that. And her name is Talking with JoJo. And that's JoJo. Go follow her. She definitely has that covered. And that's my bestie, and I follow her content too. And she does really, really good on that. And she does it's a I don't know if it was a Long Island unaliver or something like that. I don't know that, but she does it. That's who you want to go follow. I just want to point you in the right direction. Talking with JoJo. She normally would be in here, but I think she's working. So did Carmelo Anthony unaliver get arrested? He did get arrested. Well, he was the one who unalived the guy. the other young man, and God rest his soul too, and we keep his family in prayer, regardless of how the media tries to pit us against each other. At the end of the day, it was still two young lives affected by this, and so yes, Carmelo Anthony was detained. He got out on bond, and now because of the threats, they have to be in hiding. Aisha says, "Did he going to be able to wear his regular clothes?" Yes, yes. Only five though. They only allowing him to have five outfits. And that's it. And the shoes, any shoes he wear, they cannot have shoestrings. So so yeah, he's not in the normal khaki MDC guard or outfit that they make him wear. He found. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He finally gets to wear regular clothes, and that's a privilege. I'm sure. I'm sure, given what he has to wear, that's a step up. Um, from what they reported yesterday, sorry, okay, sorry, there's updates coming in from uh, local police here. What was I saying? Forgot. Oh, they reported yesterday that none of his family members showed up. So, and that's not a. We don't want to read too far into that because it's just jury selection. However, they have been known to be there for him throughout everything, his other appearances, court appearances and stuff. But we won't read too much into it right now. Um, Now next week if they don't show up, next week Monday if they don't show up, then yeah, it's gonna be a problem. Uh, Winky says he got some now later Gators. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what he gonna have to wear some slip on Gators. MDC, is that Miami-Dade County? No, it's Metropolitan Detention Center, and or some people call it Brooklyn House, but it's located in Brooklyn, New York. Rose, good morning. How you doing? Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We're just waiting for him to kick off. Like I said to you guys, if the panel's open, if you have anything you'd like to come up and give your opinion on what's going on, there's no right or wrong answers. I think we all are just, it's like it's two different people kind of people here. It's people who knew these things were going on, not just with him, not just with Puffy Jacket, but I'm talking about in the overall industry that was going on. But we just didn't know it was this magnitude, and I don't think we ever thought they would get caught like this. Rob J says, "Will he tell?" I think, and again, this is just my opinion, people. I don't know, okay, but I believe he'll tell if what they're offering him or what they're trying to give him is just like outlandishly crazy. I think he'll cut a deal and start talking. Doc Holliday said, "If you want to be okay, yeah, you got it, niece. Thank you." And so that's what I'm not, because we also got to keep in mind now. He's already stated before. If I go down, then you know other people gonna go down too. He said that. That ain't nothing we made up. That ain't nothing that we're not paraphrasing. That's just him. And so on the phone call, the first phone call, he did ask his sons if they heard from, we call him Camel Face, but we all know that him and uh, another person on a record company dealing with rocks or had a name of rock in it. So he asked for him. And then the most recent phone call, we know he was talking to the guy with the direction as a last name. So we'll see. Hey, Liz, good morning. Bessie, how you doing? Liz can vouch for me too. For that person that was asking about the Mendez brother trial, Liz can vouch for me. Talking with JoJo is who you want to go to. She has that covered. Username 2020-4 says he might as well tell. That's his best chance. Agreed. Agreed. And listen, we still have more. Okay, for those that's new here, I have to say alleged victims because for the sake of the integrity of the live, I have to say alleged. I wasn't there. I don't know if their story is true. I don't know if it's not true. So we're going to say alleged. However, to those that are victims, if you can hear me, please don't think that I'm diminishing or not believing stories when I say alleged, okay? Because that's the problem with a lot of people who are abused. They don't ever say nothing because nobody buy it. People think that they're lying. And so I don't want to be casted in that group at all. If you say it, I take it seriously. But when it's coming to something like this, I have to say alleged to protect my platform. User 564421892. Motown have some skeletons in their closet. That is so true. Very true. And listen, when they used to do the, what's it called? The reviews or whatever, they be on the bus ride, a lot of things went down. And even though, you know, artists were, and they were married and had lives back at home, they spent so much time on the road with the people they were traveling with and performing with that things just happened. So you're right. There's a lot of skeletons. Liz says, Diddy joke of the day is the reason gas is so high is because Diddy got all the oil. Listen, you good with that, Liz? Yeah. Look, 1,000 bottles. Yeah, I'd say he got it. I'd say he's a great contributor of that. Is Aiden Falke still locked up? I don't know, but I can definitely check that out for you while we're waiting because there's no updates yet. As far as this, they're just still showing. They're just still showing the outside of the courtroom. So let's go find that out for you. Hold on a second. It's blocking out something. Let's see. Okay, all it's saying right now, I hate to assume. Okay, so here's what the report is. As of in January 17th, on January 17, 2025, it says he was switched to prison amid life sentence for unaliving somebody. So yeah, as soon as he has a life sentence, and it doesn't say that he's been released. So it doesn't say that they were released. So I'm assuming he's still incarcerated. Liz said to my niece, "I bet Johnson and Johnson stocks has gone to hell since the Diddy case." Yeah, I bet everybody's afraid to use it now. You know, give me the look. Just stick the cocoa butter. We'll stick the cocoa butter. But it's. I try to tell people, and again, I don't judge. I'm not judging if he's innocent or guilty. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna let it play out in courts. But the fact that they did those raids and used that manpower, they knew something. They knew something. And I also say this because we've said it in my on my shows before. He could just be the bait. They're trying to get somebody bigger. That's also that also can be true. But it's been nothing but silence, really, from people who were all cool with him and hanging out with him before all of this happened. I don't put it like this. There's very, very, very few. I think you can count on one finger the amount of people who have rushed to his aid or to stand up for him. Liz says no innocent person got spiked baby oil bottles by thousands. Just saying, it's not normal. Right, right. And that part, Liz, that's what I'm saying. So I'm glad you said that, Liz, because a lot of people come into our shows and they get mad that we are saying like, "Yo, I don't think he's innocent. I think he's, guilty of all that they're saying." And they're like, "No, free Diddy. Like you can, I'm okay, but listen, let's take the emotion out of it. Let's just take common sense." A lot of the stuff that they say, like, for instance, the baby oil, whose house do you go in that they have that much baby oil? Okay, now the D rug that they are the pink powdery stuff, that they saying was used in a lot of these cases. Uh, when he was detained, he had on him on his person. So I'm just saying, absolutely. You can user 2020-4 says, "Can I tell you what a guy from the industry told me?" By all means. Rob J says it's too much. Plus, the feds tend to wait until they have enough evidence. Right? They didn't that part right there. They're not just going to come heavy like that into multiple uh properties and do something like that. They just it's just not it don't happen that way. Can I get two coffee magics? Can I get two coffee magics up here? They also found some things in his basement, modified hand truck painted pink, had restraints on it. We actually did a show, Liz, about the booth below, and I think that may be what you're referring to. Um, I think that might be the same thing you're saying. Username said he said that Puffy Jacket will be safer in prison because he no longer has to throw up certain signs to stay alive. You know, uh, username 2020-4. There's truth in that. There's truth in that. There is valid truth in that. And also, you got to think about it this way too. Now that he's went through this, he doesn't have the same backing that he had from those higher ups. So he's going to be more vulnerable out here on the outside now because he don't have that. How about instead of that, we'll call him cleanup team, if you will. Yellow Bumblebee said, "Good morning. How you doing? First and foremost." I'm sorry, that went up too fast. Yellow Bumblebee says what he did was wrong, but does he deserve all this? And that good question, but that's why I say I feel like they should have cameras in there for us to see, so we can determine that. Because regardless of what they're reporting, somebody somewhere is not going to believe it. Period. Because a lot of times we act with our feelings, not facts. We just can't deal with the facts. Not saying you, Yellow Bumblebee. I'm just saying that's a great question. I feel like they should have cameras in there so that way it can just we'll all know and it'll rectify all of that. Now, some of the things that have came out, I knew back in 2008 when it came to Cassie, dealing with Cassie. So I know for a fact that's not a lie, but that's domestic violence at best. That's DV at best. I mean, we love TikTok Shop, so I don't know how it's gonna go. Um, However, I will say there's others who have done pretty much some of the same things he's done, and they're out. So I don't, they're not incarcerated. So Liz says, "Oh no, if he gets put in general pop, I bet somebody gonna get their hands on." Oh, absolutely, it's over. It's over. There's no way. There's no way COs is gonna make it there in time. Liz says he'll become Bubba's girlfriend. He'll get his. Now, the thing about that though is he likes it. He likes that. So is it wrong? Like, I mean, is that gonna be bad for him? I won't say he like. I'll put it like this. He participated in grabbing ankles. So I don't know. He might like Bubba though. You know, Liz. Well, I don't know. Yellow Bumblebee. She says at some point the victims have to be held accountable. They had an idea of what was going on as adults. Right. Now, and we've addressed that too. We've made some statements on that. If you went to the party and statements on that, if you went to the party and you knew that it was gonna be on some freaky freak stuff, and you still went, hey, you're a consenting adult. There's no problem. The problem comes in if they can prove that he gave these people who went there just for that, if he gave them something that made them at some point to in a state where they couldn't protect themselves. If you provided them with some D-rugs and they didn't know, then there lies the problem. I love Liz. She said, "Oh no, Bubba's gonna tear him open." Ooh, ooh. Hey, ooh, man, that's a bad situation to be in. User 817-077-338214. Uh, I don't know what that means. He won't like it because he will be on the receiving end of the violence. True, true. Yeah, I think you and Liz just might be on to something. When you think about it that way, yeah, yeah. Did he grab? I don't know, cause he. I don't know, man. I listen honestly and truly. I said this yesterday during yesterday's show, and I'll say it now. If, if indeed he is good day from you, Cartersville, Georgia. Shout out to you. You just 25 minutes north. Shout out to you, Frederick McLaughlin. Sorry, I'm on another thing too. Um, if he is indeed, and it's like he didn't do none of this, then well, I can't say none of it because, like I said, I know he did some of it. I ain't gonna even play. I ain't gonna even hold you. That's just what happened. He did some of it. But okay, if the things that he did do, uh, if he only gets prosecuted or get convicted for that, then I'm okay with it. Hey, Liz, thank you for that surfing penguin. I appreciate that, love. Thank you. Now, if he didn't do the things that they're saying he did, as far as like the extreme things, then I don't want him to face no time for that. I don't want him to face no time for that. But Tracy A. Vance, good morning. How you doing? But see, here's the thing about it. There's so many different things. Like the civil things, he may be able to be. The civil things, he may be able to get past that. It's the federal things that's going to be hard, I think. username. I hate that. I'm sorry, it keeps popping up. Username 2020-4 says when we say party, we are referring to the OG parties or the after party. Right. Okay. So, good. Hey, good statement. Good statement. Because there's those who went to the party, regular party, who was just excited to be amongst the celebrities at the parties, and there's others who knew what was going to go to the after party, and then there's people who knew what happened at the after party. So the ones who was just going to the party just to be amongst the A-list celebrities and didn't want to be in the after parties, but they were given something so they could be party after party favors. See, that's where it go wrong. Miss E Class ATL, my fellow AT alien. I love. How you doing? Peace and blessings to you. Welcome to the live. Thank you for the heart puffs. Absolutely. ATL, we in the building. I love seeing fellow AT aliens in here. You know, that's the difference though. That's what, and see, they're gonna have to prove that though. That's where the prosecutor is by far gonna have to prove that these people knew what was going on as far as the derugging and wanted to be part of that. If they cannot, they got to take that off the table. They got to take that off the table. Um, Even when it comes to Cassie, a lot of people say, "Well, she kept going back. She stayed with him, so she was okay with it. She was there for the money." I hate hearing that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I hate hearing people say that because two reasons. One, there's this thing called Stockholm syndrome. That's real. Two, she was 19 and trying to get into the business and follow her dreams. And if you know she was with somebody and he kept showering her with flowers and presents and gifts and basically courting her, only to courting or luring, however you want to put it. And then when he got her, that's when he turned his way. So Liz says, "Yep, I studied psychology. Stockholm is real and it's sad." Thank you, Bessie. It is, and I hate it when people say that. This man's 30 something, she's 19. Come on, she wants to. She has dreams of being a singer, and he's in a key position to help her get there. I mean, I'm not listen, and I'm not saying that she didn't fall for him. I mean, she probably really did have feelings for, but in the beginning, it's I know. Come on, we're adults here. We have the honeymoon phases when we're dating. You first meet somebody, everything's fireworks popping, everything is great, and then as time go on and you all get accustomed, the real them start coming out. I'll follow you one better. You meet somebody's everything's good. Y'all have been dating for a long time. Y'all decide to move in with each other. When you move in with them, then you find out the real them. So we got to keep it real, people. We can't just say, well, she stayed because of the money. No, man. Listen. She was young, and I'm sure. Yeah, that part, Liz. Hey, moderators, pin Liz is coming. She was groomed. That's it. Liz says he didn't have feelings for anybody. It was a game for him. Okay. And I'm glad Liz brought that up because now I'm gonna point you to something else. Remember, now he had Kim Porter, God rest her soul. He had Kim Porter at home when he was dating J Lo, and he told her, "Hey, I love you, but I got to be seen out in public with her. I got for the celebrity, the power couple thing. I got to be with her, But I love you. You got my heart, but I'm going." So if he cared, that wouldn't even be a thing. Once again, like I was saying in yesterday's show, go back and listen to "I'm Gonna Be All Right" by J Lo. Listen to the lyrics to the song. She says, you had a girl when I first met you. She goes on to say other things. I'm not gonna give it all to you. Go and listen to it, but just go and listen to that song and think about where we are now today, and you're gonna be like, oh damn. Go back and listen to some of his songs or some of the other people that's been mentioned to be in his songs. And you're like, oh, it was art imitating real life. Track says so it wasn't about the money when she took the settlement. Well, keep in mind though, he paid the settlement because he wanted her to be quiet. This listen, she said she talked to him beforehand. And yeah, she was telling him about the money, right? But he was like, nah, I'm not gonna give it to you. Why? Because he had power over her in the past. And so he felt like he could manipulate her and put fear in her that she wouldn't speak out. And she did. But I'll tell you this true. If it wasn't true what she was saying, he wouldn't have paid 30 mil within a day. You understand? But see that, and again, yes, people, because I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna get this too, track. I'm gonna tell you, even when you convey that, you're gonna get this from people. So I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people are gonna say, well, just because you offer to pay off somebody doesn't mean that's an admittance of guilt, and that is true. That is very, very true. However, it doesn't look good in your favor. You understand? The same with Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay. Man, listen, uh, the lady asked him for 50 off top. She needed 50 mil off top. She wasn't gonna say nothing. And what did he tell her? Nah, that's too much. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna pay you 50. She said, okay, well then I'm gonna talk. And she did. And then what did he say? Okay, 10 mil. I'll give you 10 mil. But then she said, nah, I want the money. I take my chances and go to court. He's like, I give you 20 mil if you be cool. Oh no, I don't. I don't mind at all, Liz. I'm sorry. I didn't see you get your request. I'm sorry. He said, I'll give you 20 mil if you just don't say nothing. It's too late now. But that makes him look bad as it is. Liz, what's
hmm
up? Dusty? How you doing?
I'm all right. I just want to say, I studied clinical psychology in college. I didn't finish, but I know what I'm talking about. And I grew up parents in the police department, and typically innocent people don't shell out money
Mm-hmm.
to keep people quiet if they didn't do anything wrong.
Back because they can prove
Just
that they didn't do it, right?
yes, they don't typically do that. That is not something innocent people do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's if he's in a position of power, then he's groomed these women.
Right.
He's groomed these women. He's played these women. He's played them from J Lo to Kim to all of them, and I bet you they're afraid of him because they've seen what he can do or has done
Exactly.
and has
Mm-hmm.
been involved in. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're in that situation, you don't know what you do. A lot of people keep quiet because they don't want to end up unalive. They don't
There
want to
you
end
go.
up their lives ruined.
There you go. That's facts. I mean, and we're not. Another thing I want people to factor in when we think about it, the Cassie situation. We let's go back to when he was in college at Howard University, and those people, those girls who stayed in the dorm, and when they said that they heard him outside the window, and then when they looked outside the window, he was whipping the girl with the belt. Like this, it didn't just happen. Let's go to Misa. Let's go to Misa, his son's mother. There's been accounts of him putting hands on her to the point where he beat her up under a car.
Mhm.
So there's other people who have stated, yeah, I was pregnant by him, but he hit me and it caused an abort, caused a miscarriage and stuff like that. So it's a pattern of behavior that's established, and we can't. And to your point with Cassie, she knows. Remember when she was trying to talk to Kid Cudi? They was just talking and whatnot, and then Kid Cudi's car, you know, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be in court. They've already talked about that. So we already know that happened, right? It's going to be on there. It's going to be on there. So when people take Cassie, when you see her, when she has to live with him and see him acting like this, right? What is she going to do?
Mm-hmm. It's fear, and
Exactly.
it's understandable. I've been ABUSC'd. I understand. There's that fear of, well, what happens if I say something because this person's in a position of
Right.
power, and what is going to happen to me? What's
Exactly.
going to happen to the people I love? It's a scary situation, and I don't blame any of these women. It's all this sick pervert trying to say this TikTok friendly
Yeah.
perverted garbage.
Yeah. It is. And so we just can't blame her for being um afraid to lead.
Good morning, cousin.
Good morning, cousin. How you doing? Good morning, niece. Welcome to the panel. How y'all doing?
All right.
Good, good. We covering the trial again. Okay, hold on. We got a reporter talking. So hold on. We're gonna go to that real quick.
Testimony, the opening statements, that has not started yet. What's going on right now is jury selection. It began yesterday. The opening statements really aren't scheduled until May 12th. Just for anyone who's not familiar with the case, and at this point, I mean, how could you not be familiar with it if you've been following the news
True.
lately? There are 5 felony counts, including sex trafficking,
We
racketeering,
love TikTok
conspiracy,
Shop.
transporting individuals for prostitution,
We love
all
TikTok Shop.
included in this case here, this case against Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs, who has been at the forefront of the entertainment industry, hip hop, pop culture for decades. And he's now facing these charges that could land him in prison, in theory, for the rest of his life. Now, prosecutors allege that from 2004 to 2024, so for 20 years, he operated a criminal enterprise that exploited women through coercion, drug use, threats, often involving events referred to as freak offs. We've heard the freak offs, we've heard those comments, we've heard some of the descriptions of what was supposed to be happening at these sex parties over the course of these years. Well, a key piece of evidence includes a 2016 surveillance video purportedly showing Combs assaulting a woman attempting to leave one such event. Combs has pleaded not guilty, asserting that all encounters were consensual and part of his personal lifestyle. So, as we mentioned, what's happening now is jury selection. So before you have a trial, before you get to the point where you hear from witnesses, before you get to the point where any judge or any decisions have to be made, they have to create this jury, or they have to select this jury. The people who receive these notices could be you, it could be me, it could be anyone. You live in the city, you get your notice that it's time to do jury duty, you head down to the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. This is federal court, it's not state court. And all of a sudden you could potentially be on the panel that would decide the fate of Diddy. But there are a lot of criteria that people have to go through before they can reach that point. During jury selection so far, some potential jurors did disclose personal experiences with sexual assault, but they stated they could remain impartial. So what do we mean by that? We mean that throughout the questioning process of those jurors, they're going to be asked questions that may indicate or ask them if they have any experience with anything that could be talked about in court. So it looks like at least 3 jurors have said that, yes, they have had a history or have had something that had to do with the charges, the sexual assault allegations that could be coming up. The judge also noted the extensive list of potential witnesses. He called it an appendix from the Lord of the Rings, essentially highlighting the case's complexity, all the different people who are going to be involved here. And the trial expected to last about 8 weeks, so almost 2 months. Combs, for now, is in federal custody. He's at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, which, by the way, is where Mangione is, the accused United Healthcare killer, and also Sam Bankman-Fried, the cryptocurrency guy, and all those are essentially at some point held in the same detention center down there in Brooklyn. Now, if he's convicted, as we mentioned, Diddy could face the potential for a life sentence. So we wanted to just talk a little bit about
Hey,
some of the
Bestie. Hey,
questions
Dev. Hey, Jenny.
that some folks had out there. And so we did have a couple questions this morning.
Yeah, we've been on for
And
about an hour now.
what were yeah, the question is, are they inside the courtroom? So we know that usually court does start in the morning, and usually it starts at about 9:30 is when people start to roll in. So things do start to get rolling now. We understand that that Diddy is most likely in the building, and we do believe that the defense attorneys and the prosecutors are there. Whether things have started at this point, what has actually happened, it's still unclear because in federal court, you're actually not allowed to bring in your cell phone. So any of the media members who are inside, they usually have to leave their cell phones either outside or when you go through security. I've been in this courthouse many times. They take it, they label it, they put it off to the side, and when you leave, that's when you can go back and get it. So we haven't had any updates as of yet about what is taking place inside court so far, but we know that it is the continuation of the juror questions. When this all started, there were about 600 potential jurors, a pool of 600 people.
Hey, Carla, how you doing?
Who just showed up like they were going
Yeah,
to do
they
their
shut
jury
down our
duty,
other
and
channel,
they were
my original
narrowed
account, so I
down
had to
into
start a
what
new
is now
one.
a list of
Give me a follow,
45
and I'll follow you
prospective
back.
jurors. Attorneys have the ability to question them before they narrow it down to the final
Yeah, I
panel
came
of
on early
12
today,
with
Dev.
6 alternates. Those 12
Good
jurors,
morning, Marie.
6 alternates.
How you doing,
The
Bestie?
process includes an in-depth individual questioning to evaluate potential bias. That's what the defense attorneys want to know, and that's what the prosecutors want to know. On the first day of jury selection, 3 female prospective jurors disclosed personal experiences with sexual assault. That was
We love
significant.
TikTok Shop.
But despite those revelations, none of them were actually dismissed from the jury pool. Each one of them said that they could remain impartial. So that kind of underscores the court's commitment to a thorough vetting and processing to try and ensure a fair trial. Because they said that, yes, they do have a history of sexual assault or someone who
We
has
love TikTok
personal
Shop.
experience with
User,
sexual assault. They
you
were
want to
not
come up?
dismissed. They were allowed to stay within the jury pool for now because they said that they were impartial. Jurors, of course, have to be fair and impartial in cases involving graphic sexual misconduct,
We love
coercion,
TikTok
personal
Shop.
trauma. That can really shape your perception on some of these potential charges here that Diddy is facing. And so when those 3 female jurors kind of openly shared that they had this experience, the court really has to assess whether or not those experiences would bias their interpretation of the evidence or lead to empathy one way or the other, or judgment that kind of outweighs their objectivity. But if you want to be honest, also, if you're taking a look at this random selection of people, just kind of thinking about this, it also kind of reflects the prevalence of sexual trauma within community as a whole, kind of outside the general discussion of what's happening with the Diddy trial. But certainly that's
Yes, I
something
was asking if you wanted to
that
come
you
on a
kind of
panel
have to
today.
look at there. But all 3 of those
Bestie.
jurors did say that they could be impartial, and the judge initially did accept that. So that's where we're at with that particular part. I had a couple other notes here that I wanted to talk about. I mean, one
Hey,
thing
good morning,
that people
Justine.
have asked us about is, well, what does Diddy look like? He's been in federal custody for months now. We know that he tried to make bond. He was denied bond on multiple occasions. We know that he was offered a plea deal within the last 10 days.
Okay.
His defense turned down that plea deal. So he does remain
Thank you
in
for the
custody.
follow, Trina
When
Ellis.
he
I
did his
appreciate it. I'll
previous
follow you back.
appearances, he kind of was wearing that cliche jail jumpsuit, if you will. But the judge has granted Diddy permission to wear civilian clothing during this ongoing federal trafficking and racketeering case. So he's allowed to be in court with street clothes, basically. The decision, in some ways, it kind of helped prevent the potential prejudice among jurors that could arise from seeing
Hey, if you
him
want to come up, you
in
can
the
come up
prison
as well.
garb. And that's not too uncommon.
Okay, Justine.
But we kind of came across some information that there are some parameters that he has to go by. He can only wear up to 5 button-down shirts. That's what he has access to. 5 pair of pants, 5 sweaters, 5 socks, and 2 pairs of shoes, but no laces. So that's just kind of just one of the things that he can wear. So he's not going to be wearing the the kind of sleek suits that You may be familiar with Diddy and all the photos that we've seen of him over the years. And those items are provided actually by the detention center in Brooklyn, where he's been held since his arrest back in September of 2024. You know, it's significant when you think about it, the civilian attire in court, because when you allow defendants to wear personal clothing in court, it's pretty standard in these high profile cases. It kind of upholds the presumption of innocence, ensures even more a fair trial. So not too unsurprising that the judge did decide to do that. So what did he look like on the first day? You may have seen the sketches that are out there. No court, no cameras in federal court, similar that there's no cell phones or anything like that. So that's when you get that, when you get those sketches. And you've seen those if you've grown
I
up
guess they do it
watching the news,
one
if
for
you've
each
watched
day
the
of the
news,
week
especially in New
for
York
the
City, where
trial.
we've had so
I'm
many
assuming.
high-profile cases. You see that sketch from the courtroom, and then from accounts of
Okay.
people who were in the
Honestly, I'm still
courtroom
gathering my thoughts.
during that
Okay.
first day,
All
May
right,
5th,
no
which
problem.
was yesterday. Combs appeared in a navy crew neck sweater over a white button-down shirt and gray slacks. It is definitely a departure from his previous court appearance, where he was wearing that jail-issued clothing. But that's what he had. That's what he had on. You know, when you think about it, like the people who are going to be deciding his fate, just like you and me, they're people, they're human. That visual kind of can shape your impression, and so seeing a defendant in that jumpsuit, you know, would could sway them one way or the other. And I mean, in Diddy's case, the judge approved those 5 sets of clothing, the sweaters, the lace-free shoes, and you know, it's a tactical sort of move when it comes to fairness. And when you think about who Diddy is, it also, no matter what, is going to be a departure of kind of what you think about how he looks. So it looks like we just had a little bit of the camera go out there, but we were looking at a shot from Lower Manhattan. Try to get it back. There we go. Just popped right back up. So
Again,
again,
it's
we're
just
taking
showing
a live
the
look
outside of the courthouse.
federal court. This is Pearl Street in Lower Manhattan. If you're kind of familiar with the area, it is very busy, but outside the court, you can see they set up those pens, essentially those barricades, and under the umbrellas, those are media members. Under each one of those umbrellas, I'm going to say that those are the cameras. So you'll have the reporters who will be out there, and in front of each one of those umbrellas is the camera, and that's where the reporter stands. So those are kind of the individual live shot locations. So as you're watching, you know, Channel 5, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Fox News, CNN, like that's where they're standing. They're standing right there. Nothing's going on right now. So there's nobody there. But they still have them outside. You know, one of the other things that the jury talked about, or that came up yesterday.
No, they haven't shown up yet. Jenny says,
court,
has his
so
family, has any of his family shown up?
Not
Not yet.
Diddy's trial.
They didn't show up at all yesterday.
Racketeering, sex trafficking charges.
We love TikTok Shop.
3 jurors said that they did have a history when it came to sexual assault.
We love
but
TikTok
they were
Shop.
allowed to stay within the jury pool for now. One of the other things that came up are the celebrities who were named in Diddy's trial, who could potentially be grilled on the stand, who could come up as witnesses.
This is what we covered in the opening
and then
of
the other
day's show.
question was, did you see that video where it appears to show Diddy assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie? So those are 2 of the other things that did come up that the jurors were asked about.
So the
So during the
celebrity
jury
names?
selection for
All right,
Diddy,
cuz.
the federal sex trafficking,
All right, cousin.
racketeering trial,
We'll be
potential
here.
jurors extensively questioned about their
Celebrity names is gonna
familiarity
be
with
witnesses.
a lot of people,
And they're gonna play the
190
unedited
potential
tape
celebrities.
of
That's
him
why he said
assaulting
it was
Cassie.
kind of like a Lord of the Rings of a case, because there's going to be so many different elements here. Lord of the Rings, of course, that sci-fi thriller, that's an epic trilogy that kind of links all kinds of different worlds and different. Okay, anyway, we're not talking about Lord of the Rings, but some of the celebrities incled Michael B. Jordan,
Hey,
the
Ingrid,
actor,
thank you for the hard
Kanye
puffs.
West, the musician, producer,
That's my
of course,
bestie. We
and
went
Kid
to high
Cudi,
school
another
together.
one of the rappers, performers.
How you doing?
So the line of questioning kind of aims to identify any biases stemming from jurors' perceptions of Combs' associations with these folks. Jurors also being asked if they have seen that video allegedly showing Combs assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
No, that's not the same one. I
prior
thought that was the one I
exposure
went to high school
to
with.
seeing that potentially could influence their impartiality. So that's one of the things that they were asked about. The trial jury selection began this week, May 5th. It's expected to last 8 weeks. Opening statements could be as early as May 12th. Oh, look at that. And we got an even closer view now. So yeah, now we're looking right at the front door.
Yeah, they
you can see
zoomed
some of
in
the,
closer to the
I don't
door
know if that's
of
NYPD
the
or if that's the
courthouse.
court, the
Not
police
sure what
within the
for.
court system, federal court. So it could
Right
be
now, it's
federal
just
police
security
there.
guard walking back and
But you're
forth
looking
in
right
front.
outside, and so in theory, we could see some family members come in and out of here at some point. If we do, we'll take a pause. We'll take a closer look at who they might be. But just sort of talking a little bit more about some of the questions that came up, why that celebrity list matters. 190 potential celebrities: Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, Kid Cudi. Part of the list jurors are being asked about. Of course, these are major cultural figures, global influencers, people who, if you're relatively plugged into society, I mean, you kind of can't help but know who these folks are. But the court wants to know if potential jurors have positive or negative associations with those people that could sort of sway their opinions about Combs. If a juror, for example, strongly idolizes or despises someone who's mentioned, maybe you hate Kanye West now. Maybe you've been watching some of the stuff he's been doing. He's been sending out there on social media. Maybe his person.
Hold
Oh,
on,
dish
y'all.
soap is on sale.
That's a commercial. That's something you brought up yesterday, Jenny. You was talking about, is it going to help? The things that Kanye doing, is he helping like create a diversion for Puffy Jacket or what? And so now like I said, it may be a bad thing. You know, the stuff that he's doing, talking about the guy with the direction as the last name, that he's doing, because if it make people angry at him or not like him, then where's that going to lead to when it comes to Puffy Jacket? Little brother, how's it going? You joined in. I see you. I see you. Buck in the system. That's what I'm talking about, little brother. You got plans,
Being
man.
asked if they've seen that
How you doing
2016
this morning?
surveillance video allegedly showing Combs assaulting his now ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. That video, of course, you know, you could say it went viral, but it was everywhere, and it resurfaced, and it could potentially prejudice some of the jurors, particularly if a juror views it as proof of a violent pattern. So you see that.
Didn't we say
What's
that?
happened in there, at least from the defense's
Pattern of
perspective,
behavior
is
going to
being
mean
debated.
everything.
But if you've already seen that video and you've
Yeah, I
already drawn a
can't believe it's
conclusion and
working
you're going
while
to say
I'm
that
inside.
this is a pattern of
Okay,
violence, then
let's knock on wood.
you
It
know,
keeps working.
the defense is going to really push strongly for you not to be on the jury. One juror was already dismissed for calling it damning, so we know that it's already had an impact for some of these jurors. So, and so showing just how explosive and influential this evidence could be even before it's formally presented. So in the one sense, a juror has seen that video. They asked them about it. That juror said it's damning, and that juror was dismissed. I mean, that's pretty much how simple it works. If you've
An update
served
just
on a
came
jury or
across
you've
my
been down to the courthouse,
the top of my heading. It
you know,
says
I
that
mean,
Sharp
a lot of us
vanishes
get
to
jury duty, and you go down there and
Island
you're trying to get
Paradise.
out of the jury
I have to
duty.
look
I mean,
up
let's
on
be
that.
honest,
I'll
that's what
check
a lot
into
of
that
people
and
do.
see
You
if
go
that's
down there,
true.
you say, I got a work conflict. Boom, they let you go. But let's say you don't have a work conflict or the judge doesn't accept it. Then they ask you sort of some further questions. They ask you, well, what did you think when you first heard the charges? And then they ask you, do you think that you have a history of anything that has to do with these charges? And depending on some of your answers there, that's when they decide whether or not they want you to be within the jury. So the judge could dismiss you, but often it is the prosecutors or the defense attorneys who kind of make the decision.
Dr.
The defense might
Rashida,
say,
good
"No, we don't want this
morning,
guy."
bestie.
The prosecutors will say,
Hey,
okay,
thank
well,
you
we're
for
going to
that
take this
heart
guy or
meat.
this woman, and so
How
on
you
and so
doing?
forth.
Your day going
The goal,
okay?
of course, is to weed out jurors who might come in with a fixed assumption.
We on the
shaped by
Diddy
media,
thing again. We're
shaped
covering
by
the trial.
music,
The
celebrity
second day.
culture, and who Combs is, what he could potentially be capable of. You know, I'm an 80s baby. So I grew up in the 90s, right? So 1992, 93, 94, I can't remember exactly when it was, but, you know,
Great years.
Biggie,
My teenage
Notorious
years.
B.I.G., and Puffy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they kind of shaped a lot of pop culture. And certainly the transition of hip hop
Let's
music
good,
into
good.
pop culture, and then that influence of pop culture into all of entertainment. And just, you know, you don't want to make too much of it, but certainly what Diddy was and kind of how he became this media mogul, this entertainment mogul, this pillar of hip hop and entertainment was because he was so influential. And so the defense has argued that,
Thank you for
look,
that cap. I
this is a guy
appreciate it. The
people wanted to be
TikTok
in his
hat.
orbit.
Thank
You know,
you,
he was
Dr.
rich,
Rashida.
he was famous, he had a lot of money, he had a lot of power, he had a lot of influence. So of course, people wanted to be near him because maybe they could benefit, maybe they could be part of it. And maybe you don't agree with some of his preferences when it comes to what he likes
See,
to
we
do
just talked about
after
that, Liz,
hours.
when we were talking about
But that doesn't make it illegal.
Cassie.
You know, just because he likes to do things that are a little unusual to you doesn't make it against the law. Defense's argument, not my words. But that's some of the things that they have put out there. So anyway, so some of the celebrities who were mentioned that could potentially testify: Michael B. Jordan, Creed, of course, he's in the new movie Sinners. So everybody knows who that guy is, right? I mean, he's one of the more popular movie stars out there right now. Positive, empowering figure for a lot of people. Kanye West, controversial. We've talked about him, some of the crazy stuff he's been out there saying. I'm not supposed to say things like that, but let's say he's been saying some pretty crazy stuff.
Hey,
Kid
hashtag
Cudi,
I'm
you
gonna
might
say
not be
it, bro.
super familiar
You
with
say
him,
it.
but he's a musician, actor. But if you have paid attention to his music, you know, he's been an advocate for
Thank you for
mental
that coffee
health.
magic, little brother.
He's kind of one of those like thoughtful rapper guys.
I appreciate that. Can I get one more? Can I
always
get
has
one
something to
more?
say.
Can I get one more coffee magic?
And anyway, so maybe somebody has an opinion about them, but their inclusion signals the prosecution or defense may reference them as potential witnesses, character references, context around Combs' social circle, all of which could shape.
Thank you.
the
Thank you,
juror
little brother. I
mindset.
appreciate
In
that.
short, this line of questioning is about more than name dropping, kind of about untangling the myth of the man, the mogul surrounded by fame.
Thank you
from
for helping me
the
meet that
facts
goal. We're
of
gonna
the
go and set
case.
a new one.
And so they need to get some of that information out there.
Shout out to Matthew Collins, my little brother, for helping me reach my daily goal. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that love, little brother.
Yes,
You ready for the show tonight, right?
that's one of the questions that we'd had. Yeah. So when we talk
What are we gonna have
about
today? Let me see.
the defense's strategy, I made some notes. Yeah. So you're right. I mean, when we talk
like
about
pop.
let's just sort of hit some of the charges. We have the racketeering conspiracy. What does it mean? The government alleges Diddy operated a criminal enterprise using his business and inner circle to commit illegal acts, including sex trafficking, drug distribution,
TikTok
and
Shop.
violence. Why it matters. This charge is pretty much the anchor tying together various alleged acts under one organized operation, similar to how mob or gang cases are structured. So RICO and racketeering cases, that's how they took down the mob in the 80s. That's how Giuliani took down the mob, and that's how they're trying to take down Diddy. Typically, the mafia is a whole
Ms.
bunch
E
of people.
Class, I appreciate that goat.
And, you know,
Thank
maybe
you
there's
so
a
much.
head
I
of the-
appreciate it.
the key figure here. Here, Diddy is really the whole racketeering case, which is somewhat unusual according to some defense
Thank you
attorneys.
for the heart
Talking
plugs.
specifically
I
about the sex
appreciate that, Ms.
trafficking,
E Class.
the freak offs. What it means. Prosecutors claim Diddy
Good morning,
recruited
Carlos.
and transported women, often under coercion
How
or
you doing,
false
brother?
pretenses, to engage in sex acts, sometimes across
Hold
state
on.
lines.
We
which
love
across those
TikTok
state
Shop. Hold on,
lines
someone's
go
talking.
to,
Hold on 1 second.
the federal charges there. And then transportation
They
to
cut it
engage
off.
in prostitution, which is also known as the Mann Act. What it means under the Mann Act,
There was a lady
it's
talking
illegal
at a
to
podium,
transport
but
someone across state lines
they
for
cut
sex
from it.
works, even if they agree when coercion
It's raining
or
in New York, so you hear the
exploitation is
raindrops. I
involved. Why it's
apologize.
serious. These charges carry long sentences and are often used in human trafficking cases.
Hey, thank
The
you
other
for that light
charges,
pop. I
conspiracy to
appreciate that,
distribute
little brother.
controlled substances and obstruction, not sort of related to that question that we have here. So just looking at it quickly from the prosecutor's standpoint, a key tactic is going to be the survivor testimony. We know that Cassie is expected to testify. It'll be a high-profile witness, and we think that 3 other anonymous alleged victims will also testify. So survivor testimony, firsthand accounts from women describing being trafficked, drugged, or abused, surveillance video, we've talked about the Cassie footage, text messages, flight logs, photos, evidence showing transport, drug use, control. You're going to hear
We love
about all
TikTok
that.
Shop.
That's why it's going to take 2 months, because that's going to take a lot of time. And then there's going to be the pattern building, linking events across years and victims to establish the criminal enterprise. So that's what you're going to see from the prosecution side. From the defense strategy, the lead message is that Diddy is a target because of his wealth, his fame, and his lifestyle. What the prosecution calls exploitation was consensual behavior among adults. Plain and simple, full stop. That's what they're going to say. I mean, that's what I think they're going to say. That's what all indications are going to be the key elements here. The key tactics there will be the consent narrative. Emphasize that any sexual activity was part of a consensual swinger lifestyle and not trafficking. I think that's getting at pretty much what you're saying there. So, and I've heard some other legal experts sort of weigh in on this in this way, is that, Diddy lived this life of extravagance for years and years and years. That's what
thank you for that, Harvey, Miss E-Class. Shout out to Miss E-Class for becoming the 13th member of our team, the fan club.
The power and the wealth that he did. And they argue that, okay, if you want to look back on it and view it with a criminal lens, then yes, you're gonna find things that are questionable. That's what they're gonna say. Prosecution views it differently. Anyway, let's go get back to some of the defense strategies here. Discrediting the accusers. That's a tough tactic in court. I was in court not too long ago where one of the people who testified was the alleged victim of an underage sexual assault.
We love TikTok Shop.
So she had to testify. Brave woman had to come in to testify. She testified on behalf of the defense, laid out her story. So the other side has to come in, the plaintiff. You have to show respect, but you're also trying to prove a point. And so there was a lot of debate within the jury about kind of how he treated that witness. And so that's something that the prosecution and the defense, probably the defense in this case, has to be really careful of, because the prosecution is going to come in. These women are going to tell their stories.
Thank you all. We've reached 20K. Let's shoot 25. I think we can go 25. Let's shoot 25K.
Once it's said in court, it's going to be a headline. So when they testify in court, that testimony is public, and we will report it in the media. Now, when it's the anonymous victims, you won't hear who their names are. You'll just kind of hear what happened. So then it's the defense's turn. Prosecutors get their chance to ask questions. The defense get their chance to ask questions. And their job is to discredit the accusers. So they want to highlight inconsistencies, motivations. Is money involved? Is there revenge involved? Are there any history of civil lawsuits or settlements? And then just sort of moving onto a broader picture, to attack the foundation of the RICO indictment, and argue that there was no criminal enterprise, just isolated incidents with no coordinated plan. Right? You had a party here and a party there. So-and-so is here. This is what happened. Not a criminal enterprise that was focused solely on this type of activity. Which you will say, this is what now the mafia, this is how they did it. Okay, the mob, they were running gambling rings. They were running prostitution rings. This is what they do it. Diddy, this was no criminal enterprise. This is a guy who had parties after the Oscars. Maybe not the Oscars, maybe the MTV Music Awards or something like that. That's probably going to be part of the defense's strategy. And of course, they'll challenge the admissibility of certain materials. The Cassie video, we know that has already been debated and allowed. It's funny. I was a part of a jury not too long ago, and it was eye-opening how much is debated within the hours of the trial. So each side gets their discovery, so you know what the evidence potentially is going to be that the prosecution has and that the defense is going to inject. That's called the discovery evidence. And even after it's proposed from one side, if the defense or the prosecution doesn't like it, then that's when they object. And often what happens is they have a sidebar to the side, The jury wouldn't be able to hear it at that point.
The
but
brother
it
said,
goes
"Puff
on the
Puff is up the
record,
creek without a
and
paddle,"
the
basically.
judge will either
Yeah,
allow it
yeah.
to be introduced, not allow
Pretty
it to
much.
be introduced, or will have to be talked about in a certain way. I know, for example, there was a case I covered recently where there was an allegation of domestic violence that had to do with one of the people
Marie
in
says
the
they
case.
said the trial
So
hasn't even
you could-
started
you
yet.
could
They're still
reference that,
questioning jury members.
the domestic
Right.
violence, but you couldn't go into detail
This
about
is
it.
the second
So that
day.
was the way the
The
judge
actual
kinda got
trial
around that.
won't
So
start
that-
until
that's the
next
type of
Monday.
thing,
But
that's going to happen.
This
So they're
is
going
the
to challenge
second
the
heap
admissibility
of potential
certain
jurors.
materials like
And
the
each
Cassie
heap
video,
contains
and maybe
300
there's
to
gonna be some
500
text messages.
candidates.
There's going to be some surprises. There are going to be some headlines that are just going to blow your mind over the next 2 weeks. Guaranteed that's going to happen. And then, of course, there's the celebrity bias angle, the fame, Diddy being judged unfairly due to his fame, and who he is, what he's about, and people might already hate him. It's hard not to
User
have an opinion about someone
2020-4
like
says,
Diddy,
can the judge just
whether or
do
not
a
it's just
thorough
knowing
check
who he is,
of the
or
jurors' social
maybe you don't
media
like rap
without
music.
warning?
Maybe you think rap music's bad for society, and maybe
Wow,
you
that's a
think
good
he's
question.
responsible
I'm
for
not
it. So,
sure. I'm not sure on that.
That's certainly going to be a part of it. No matter how you look at it,
That's a good question.
Diddy is facing 15 years to life in prison if he's convicted of the most serious charges here. So here we have it. The racket. Yeah. Yes. And so right now, taking a live look down Lower Manhattan, Pearl Street, and 10:12 here on this Tuesday.
It's more
morning.
media people gathering.
Another 36 prospective jurors are expected to be questioned today. On Monday, there were 36 potential jurors who were questioned. They were all in person, and they were asked about their impartiality. They were asked if they have had any connection to sexual assault cases.
We love TikTok
At the end of the day, the jury pool was about half of its size. Some people were excluded for personal reasons. Maybe you had a problem. You couldn't sit for a 2-month trial, or maybe you were dismissed. But they're still doing that. There's still a couple dozen jurors who are still there, so they have to narrow it down to 12 men and women, plus they need a couple alternates in case something happens to those particular jurors. So they need to have alternates who are on there as well. That is expected to take another couple days. I mean, it's Tuesday, the potential that could happen on Wednesday or Thursday. And if you're familiar with court, they don't really like to start stuff on Friday. Just being honest with you. Now, I don't know
Somebody
if that's
just
what's
walked
going to
by
happen
with a
here because
sign
it's federal
and said,
court and
"I
it's a
firmly believe
high-profile
eye for
case."
an eye.
But a lot of times, just like the rest of us, they don't like to do a whole lot of stuff on Friday. So we're thinking that the opening statements are scheduled, and they are
and Michelle Williams,
for
Jenny,
May the 12th.
Mike
So
Myers,
they may get this jury selection
but
wrapped
you
up.
know,
Maybe
I
today,
didn't know
maybe
he
tomorrow.
had the tattoo that said Diddy
Then
on him.
you may see
in
some
the
sort of
Austin
behind the
Powers movie.
scenes
I didn't
legal
know that.
wrangling about what evidence can be
I
involved
never put that
over
together.
the next day and a half before the actual trial gets started, because there's always so much little legal drama that has to happen between the two sides before they even reach some kind of agreement before you get into the real drama
tracks, big brother.
of the case. So again,
It's in
jury
your email.
selection.
Okay,
happening
great. All right, little
6th,
brother. I'm gonna go listen.
We expect that the opening
Those two,
statements will be on May 12th.
I
We're
love
thinking
those
that
two.
This is going to
The
be
one you sent me last night
6
and
to
the one
8
we
week
was talking
trial.
about when I asked you who was
You're
saying
like,
it.
well, why is it going to take so long?
Carlos, you remember the
When you have
tattoo?
a case like
You
this,
said Diddy on
there's
it,
going to
didn't
be a lot of digital evidence. So when you get digital evidence, and we're talking video,
You look at
photos,
Puffy Jackson's behavior
and
throughout
those
his
text
reign.
messages. There's going to be
He's
so
been
many text
wilding out.
messages that they're going
Facts.
to talk about probably in this trial.
Snow White
And every
23,
time
welcome to the live.
you introduce
How do you see
a
this? Do
piece
you
of
have
evidence
another live
or
about the court outside?
or
Yeah,
something like that, and especially if it's a text, you have
watching
to establish the
Fox
time.
New
You have
York,
the
Fox 5 New
attorney
York.
reads the text, the witness reads the text. The attorney reads the text back. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's a half an hour for one text message thread, and then they take a break. So that's why
I
this
can't
takes
wait
so
to
long.
hear him.
And
I wish you could share the link in here so
that
people
things are
can
gonna
go
get
here.
started next Monday.
You welcome Snow White
We,
23, and thank you for joining us.
I
And
know we've had a couple questions.
of course,
We
you're
have,
welcome to stay. You don't have to run.
anything that people are sort of thinking about out there, the cast. Well, I mean,
User 2020-4 says several people have
what's
referenced Diddy
interesting
on
with
several
the,
TV shows, even
the Cassie
Madagascar.
video
See, and that's the
is
thing.
that for a lot of people,
They do it, and we don't
the
catch the
allegations
significance
against
at the
Diddy didn't
time.
really seem real
But then,
until
now we get
you
it.
saw that video.
Okay. All right.
You hear
Always
about
welcome.
the civil cases and some of the side litigation, maybe the cases that were settled out of court, maybe they weren't, maybe they were dismissed. But then once you see the video,
25,100. Man, you
and then he
all
had to
are
respond to the
amazing.
video,
Thank
he
you
put
so
out his
much.
own
Thank you.
apology, and saying that he's disgusted by the person that he saw in that video, uh, essentially giving it authenticity. Um, that's when some of these things started to really take shape. And eventually the charges came. His home was raided in Los Angeles. His homes were raided. There was the video from above of the helicopters removing the evidence from his house, removing they said they had weapons that had serial numbers ticked off, and the different materials from the so-called freak-offs parties, all this
Yeah,
other kind of
true.
stuff. I'm not going to get into all that, but
True.
a lot of people have
You're
seen
right,
the
little brother.
headlines. And so when it comes to the Cassie video, we know it's going to be introduced. We know it's going to be involved, and we
Jenny
know
says
that
it's just
she
like
is
we've been
going to
saying. He's been dry
be
snitching on himself throughout the year,
one of the
throughout
key
his music.
witnesses for the
Yeah,
prosecution.
he
I wouldn't
has.
be surprised
He
if she
really
wasn't the
has.
first witness, because a lot of times you put your stronger witnesses right toward the front and right there at the end, because the prosecution probably is going to take, a couple weeks, maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks to lay out their entire case, because there are so many different charges involved here: racketeering, sex trafficking,
We love
transportation
TikTok
to
shop.
engage in prostitution, conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, and obstruction and retaliation. So that's what we got going on this morning.
My little
10,
brother
15, 10, 16,
had
well, 10, 17 now,
several
I should say.
lifetime supply of Johnson and
Taking a
Johnson.
live look
Laughing
outside
my
of
ass
Pearl
off.
Street, Lower
Yeah,
Manhattan.
it does not look
Things are
good
going
for
to get
him.
rolling as we
Jenny
get
says,
these
so what
updates.
do
We'll
y'all
let you know.
think about his case? How many
You are
people think
tuned into
he's
the
never
Fox
getting
5
out?
YouTube
Put one in the
page.
chat
We're
if you think he's
live
never getting
streaming
out. 2 if you
outside
think
all
he'll
day.
get
If
out.
we get a press conference, maybe one of the defense attorneys comes out to talk. Obviously, we always bring it to you live.
All right. We have breaking news. Let's see. All right. I guess they tricked us because nothing happened. It just cut back to the outside of the courtroom and the reporter went away. All right. So we'll mute that so we don't have to hear the rain and the New York traffic, which I miss it, by the way. Just looking at it, I miss it. New York was so fun. If you all haven't been to New York before, definitely go. Okay. Kim got one. Misty Jones got one. Marie says, I'm confused now. Use a 2020-4 says 2 with limitations as a possibility, but 1. I get you on that. I totally follow you on that. I got you on that. Believe it or not, I totally understand what you're saying. And like another thing they
What
brought
I
up.
missed? What I missed? What I missed? I had stepped away and came back.
No, you good. They hadn't said nothing really. It said breaking news, and there was a lady, a BLK lady standing at a podium talking, but they shut it off and cut back to the reporter. So I'm not sure what's really going on in there, but they're not saying nothing yet. They did say that uh, they've mentioned the witness is going to be the guy with the direction as a last name, Michael B.
Um,
Jordan, Mike Myers, Laura B. Some I can't remember her last name. She was on Making the Band. We know Cassie. Did I say Michelle Williams too? I think
oh
Michelle Williams.
wow, Michelle from
Yep.
Destiny's Child.
That niece. That's what I said. Who? For
Wait,
what?
what? Why is she up there?
Right.
Really?
You gave me the Scooby Doo fair.
Yeah, because
Yo.
I definitely did the same. Michelle.
Right. She don't even say nothing. I have to, but
Michelle
this
don't do nothing. I haven't seen Michelle's. I don't know. I don't know.
facts, Kim. Facts, Kim. Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
can't.
know what I
I don't
wanted
know.
to ask you on? Do you think that they gonna bring up? I hope they do. I want somebody to
Who?
bring up the fact that about the whole thing with Kim in the casket. How he had her
Ah.
casket
Already me. Yeah.
yeah, before she even passed away.
Dude, if they bring that up, niece, let me tell you, it's
I
gonna
want
be some
somebody to bring
splaining.
that up. Yeah, because he got some splaining to do. He
Yeah.
got some splaining to do.
But because think about it, who goes out? I mean, I know people say, "Well, we purchase out," but no, when you're doing it for
3 weeks before
somebody else,
somebody passed. 3
That
weeks
part.
before they pass.
That part right there. Yo, just weird, right, Kim? Just weird. Carlos said he did what with Kim? Yeah, he purchased a casket for her 3 weeks before she passed away. So like, and somebody on here previously was talking about, I think it was Liz. She was talking about the things that he had in the basement, and I was like, yeah. In fact, they was talking about the booth below. We did a show on that where it was talking about the booth below, and it was Kim, his and Kim, the twins, the daughters was talking about that. You see what I'm saying? So,
Mm.
and
Not the
down there,
kids was talking about it.
yeah, yeah, it was some things that went on. I guess that some things that he had hit. Nobody was allowed to go down there. So that just lets you. It
Mm.
sounds weird already. That sounds like a horror
Yeah,
movie off rip.
yeah, that's
So
enough for me.
yeah, yeah, Jenny. It was red down there. Uh-huh. It was a booth. They call it was a recording booth, but it was all in red, and it was in the basement. And the twins referred to it as the booth below. So, and it was also a person who was an engineer for Bad Boy, and he was saying, "Hey, when I would be over there at his house, and I'm working on music, I would hear things from down there, stuff. It was just it was an unsettling feeling, and so
Mm-mm.
we gonna see, we gonna see, right, Kim? He thought he was invincible, but you see, the reason why he felt he was invincible is because he had those people helping him. He had those people always cleaning up behind him on his crimes and stuff like that, and so now I don't know who I was speaking with earlier in the live, but they were saying that he's probably safer in there than he would be out.
Yeah, he would, because I
Yeah,
told you they gonna pull his muffin cap back.
absolutely. Off rip, first day,
Soon as he get
first
out,
day.
they gonna hit him with the Nino Brown. Nino Brown, I'll see you in hell.
Boo! He gonna fall over the railing.
Mhm.
Man, listen, it's already
It's not funny, but it's so true. It's
it
so
is.
true.
It's yeah. We're not making. It's not funny, but it's funny because
It is.
when we opened up, we were saying how every time he gets a win, because they were saying that there was one victim alleged, I've got to say alleged, but it was one alleged victim who she said a couple of weeks ago she was going to testify. She wanted to use her name and all of that. Well, now they're saying that she don't want to testify.
Because
You
somebody
know,
done did something or said something or made a threat.
that's what I was thinking too. She got scared. Somebody done put fear in because they've already pointed out that
All
he's
them
been
phone
still
calls
threatening
that he
people.
made from that prison, that's what that was about.
Exactly. That's what I think too, niece. And she
That
she
was
done
the
shelled up.
precursor to them phone calls.
Right. So that was the win he got in all of this. But
Not really, because
not really. Yeah.
it
Hmm.
turned around and slapped him right in the face.
Hard, hard. Then he was saying
Okay, so
he
now you trying to scare off witnesses. Now we gonna bring something that you can't scare off. Video evidence.
that part, and that's what they did because he was telling them like he said that he didn't want the video of him assaulting Cassie. He don't want that to be played. He said because it's been doctored, it's been altered. And when they said what he said, they sped it up, which that don't even make sense to me. But anyways, he said they sped it up. So the prosecutor was like, okay, cool, we won't play that
We'll play a
version.
different one. We'll play the
Yeah,
whole
we're
version,
gonna play the whole version,
unedited
right?
version, the uncut. Get him,
Right.
get him
So
out of there.
right when he gets to do his Rocky chant, it's like, yeah, I got dang.
No, sit down.
And it's 10 minutes of it, man. Come on now.
Yeah, they got. That's what I said. They gonna play that whole unedited version. That whole because they did speed it up and stuff because they had to edit it because there's certain things you cannot put out on the
On,
news.
on TV, yeah, right.
So that's why we
Yep.
got social media to see the whole thing. So
Mm-hmm.
they did it smart. Yeah, we ain't gonna put the whole thing out. We're gonna speed it up and edit it. Yeah, you can't use that. Yes, we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna use the real video.
Right. You right. Okay. Cool. We won't use that. You right. But we're gonna play the whole. So now it's even worse.
We're gonna play the real video.
Exactly. And like Jenny was saying, now it's because she's big and pregnant, the jury will have sympathy. And that's what I was saying earlier. You wasn't on yet. You wasn't on yet, but that's what I was saying. You got to think about it. Regardless, I know people say, well, she wasn't pregnant when it happened. That's not the point.
That's
The
not the
point
point.
is, she's gonna walk in that courtroom. They're gonna see her
And they're gonna be
pregnant,
like, "Oh my God, you
and it's
did this to this woman, and then thank God she's able to carry life." That's what's gonna be the thank God if she went through all that trauma and if most of that stuff she said happened to her, she's still able to have children and stuff. Oh yeah, we're gonna throw you under the bus.
yeah, you exactly. No, I mean it's gonna be zero F's given. Kim said,
Nope.
did he just get sloppy or make the wrong people mad?
He
I
made
think
the wrong
both.
people mad.
Yeah, I
He
think
made the
both.
wrong
The
people
wrong
mad
people mad, especially
when he did that thing and sued them people for
with the alcohol.
that alcohol. That's the people he made mad.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's the people he made mad, and now he
I was
got
just
to
about
pay
to
the
say that.
piper.
I was just about to say that. Nee. That was the end all be all right there.
Yep, they said, "All right, we're gonna fix you." Cassie,
Hmm.
go get him. You could get him now. We'll help
Right.
you. It's not even that you could get him now. We'll help you. We're gonna
Yeah.
help you.
You'll be what we need you to be, girl. We got you. Yeah.
Do you keep being you, and we gonna back you.
Yes. And now I know a lot of people are saying, well, come on, how could that happen? Well, let me put
He
it to you
sued
this
them
way.
people for $3 billion. He
And said
got
they was
money.
racist.
He got what it was there. Them people, you know. I don't like to bring race into it, but race definitely does still always play a big factor in a lot of
Facts.
situations.
Hmm.
How dare you, NIGGA, get up here and bite the hand that feeds you, and you going, we done did deals and everything and gave you a place at our table, and you
Right.
gonna sue us? And we
Hmm.
already signed a clause that any lawsuits or disputes will be handled outside of court, and you gonna bring it to court and
Got you.
publicly embarrass us? Oh, I'm gonna take
Got
you to the cleaner.
you.
I'm gonna
Hmm.
strip you of everything that you got, and I'm gonna do it slow.
Hmm. It's publicly publicly yeah,
Humiliation.
humiliating him. Yeah.
Publicly humiliate because he publicly humiliated them.
That part.
If anybody paid attention or seen or followed that case,
No. No, he was
right
never bigger
after
than
he
the
won
program.
that case, not even after he like probably what 3 months after he won the case because they was in court for a
Right.
minute for that.
Hmm.
Right, like maybe 3 minutes after he won that case, then Cassie came out.
Sure did. Sure did. And you got to understand, our country, the United States, makes a lot. I'm talking about tons of money off of liquor sales. That's just what it is. So when you start to,
Yeah, Kim, go look that case up. Go look it up. I can't
yeah,
think of the
absolutely.
name of the company, but it's the company that fronted what's his liquor
De
Deleon,
Leon, yeah.
and
Hmm.
he wanted to do a tequila. That's what it
Yeah.
was. It was
Yeah, it
the
was tequila.
Deleon tequila that he wanted to do, and he got upset with them because they didn't give him enough agave plants to make a certain batch amount. They wanted him to keep pushing Ciroc, and he didn't want to keep pushing Ciroc. He wanted to start a new project and sell it to everybody, and they only wanted him to put it in the BLK neighborhoods in the liquor
Yeah.
stores. It wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be for everybody else to consume. It was only supposed to be put in our neighborhoods.
Yo, I
And
think
he
he should
took
have
that
just
as
stayed
a
with
slap in the
Ciroc.
face.
I think he should have stayed with Ciroc.
Yeah, I think he made him. I think he noticed the mistake that he made.
Hmm.
I really do. I
Yeah,
think
I
he
do too.
knows the mistake that he made.
Do you? Okay.
That's why he said that, if I go down, I'm taking everybody down with me.
See, and those that's been in here the whole time. My niece wasn't even in here when I told y'all that. I told you he said it. He said it, not us.
He said, if
So
I go down, I'm taking everybody. That's why I said Nino Brown. If I
yes,
go down, I'm taking everybody with
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
yes. And my brother's keeper, boy.
No. I
Right.
I really think of Diddy as the actual Nino Brown. I think that because if you think about how he acts and the things that he have done, well, allegedly the things that they said he has done, that's what Nino Brown did. Like he
Yeah,
got he brought his character to life through him.
facts. He did. Eduardo says, "Why did Diddy turn down plea deal?" Well, listen. In his defense, he only needs one person. He just needs one juror to see it his way. But and he leaning on that. But then I also have to say, I honestly think that his defense team isn't really looking out for his best interest. If
They
you think
don't
about it,
care. You know
right? They're
why
gonna
they
get
don't
paid
care?
regardless.
They don't care because they get paid regardless for one. But for two, if he go down, they rid of him. They ain't gotta worry about him.
Nah, not at all. Not at
They ain't
all.
gonna have to worry about that man no more when he gone. They got their money out of him. He
Right.
gonna be in the doghouse, and they ain't gotta worry about nothing happening to them.
No, you'll catch them on Fifth Ave cooling out, man. Listen, man. When they tried to say that they wanted to have him plead insanity, come on, man.
Bye,
Come on, man. Like, yo, you can't.
boy, bye.
Right. That.
Insanity. You gotta be insane for you to go look up your kid's mother casket three weeks or before she passed away. You gotta be insane.
Yeah. There's no other way of
It
saying it.
is some mental issue that you have going on there, but that's it's too late for that
Yeah, we're past that now. You that's not gonna
because
work.
now it's an ongoing pattern.
Hmm.
So is it the fact that you're insane or the fact what really gets you off? The fact that you've been getting away with it
I
and
think
you
both.
know that you have a mental illness, or the fact that you like to instill fear in other people. And some people get turned on by stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Unfortunately, it's a weird niche, but yeah, that I mean, it is. That's a fetish for some people, and
Who was it? They said it was what's his name? Carl Winslow, the guy that played Carl Winslow.
yeah, Reginald Vale Johnson.
Yes, him. They say he was sleeping with allegedly, y'all. I'm gonna say allegedly.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I heard that.
They
He's in
said
there.
he was sleeping with Diddy for some funds, for some dividends. And Diddy would like, I guess, like lend money out to people who stars that have fallen from grace or who can't find work to have like a power or authority over them.
Right,
And
right.
he would sleep with them.
Hmm.
So
And
it's like you selling your soul to him for some money.
Keon says, I wonder if he's ever been diagnosed with any mental issues. Not that I'm aware of.
Didn't they say his aunt is his
His
mother
mom is
is
his
his
aunt.
aunt,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
really ain't his mother? But I
That's what
think
I
she's
heard.
been doing stuff with him too from when he was a kid, like R. Kelly parents.
Yeah. But
Because
see,
when you
Glass,
get
thank you for
this,
the
where
gold.
do you get this behavior from? You didn't just get this from just your mother aunt or whoever she was. You got to think about too the people who was his mentors. This
Yeah.
behavior is not learned as if like it just happened. Anything that you see, you learned it from somebody else.
Okay. Okay. We'll talk privately, Marie. Absolutely.
He
Yeah. That's
definitely
what I'm
learned that
saying,
from
niece.
somebody else.
Well, and that was said, like you said, that his mom is actually his aunt, and that she'd be doing things with him. And then in the documentary, his childhood friend, was saying, "Well, hey, the way she used to throw part, we'll call her JC. The way JC would throw parties on the weekends, it was nothing for us to walk in the bedroom and see people hunching and
So
girl
she
on
been
girl,
doing
guy on
stuff
guy.
like that.
Yeah, so see, he grew up seeing freak offs, and
And
so
got a child.
she said the devil is a lie. Yeah, yeah. The
Why
Catholic
she
school
ain't in
thing. Yeah,
jail?
Jenny. Yeah, Jenny. The Catholic school thing as well. So yeah, yeah, man. And she should be, but and of
Why
course,
she's not called to the stand? Like why ain't nobody calling on her? Janice
yeah,
to the front.
yeah, she should be in there with him, honestly,
Janice to the front.
because they're even saying that she allegedly people that she's the one who kind of groomed Mary J to be like that. You know, we
She the
know he
one
had
that
a thing
who?
with Mary J. She's the one that basically coached Mary J on how to act and how to get down. You know, because
Really?
you, yeah, that
Yeah.
came from JC.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we know. I mean, look, hey, if that's how they get down, that's how they get down. It's just a matter of, when people don't want to participate in that particular lifestyle, then you can't. I know you know, Bestie. I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, you know. And as far as JC, if she really is a part of helping him get away with this, then why? Yeah, she should be in there.
I can't. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's
It's
crazy, isn't
not
it?
okay. It's not okay.
Crazy, man.
It's
Crazy
not.
work.
It's not
Crazy work.
okay. It's not safe. It's.
When I say that this trial, like I said it earlier, this is what I mean by I believe this trial is going to be the new age O.J. Simpson trial.
It is, but it's gonna be worse because OJ was innocent.
That's true. I'm saying, as far as it being always in the media covering, dominating our airwaves, the whole trial. That's what I mean by that. But
But they
yeah,
about
this
to
is going to
make
be
this.
worse.
They about to really. You know, it's another thing too. They about to capitalize off of this case.
What?
When they do stuff like this regarding these celebrities and stuff, it's a bigger agenda that's taking place.
Mm-hmm. It is. Well, they're going to make money. They're going to make movies off of this.
Oh yeah, they is. But we gotta get ready to worry about martial law happening.
Ah, yeah, yeah. I've heard about that going down too. Yeah.
So while everybody paying attention to what's going on with this case, pay attention to what's going on also.
Yeah. Don't get caught off guard.
Yeah,
You know. And hey,
yeah.
protect your safety at all
Because
costs.
they're wilding out. They're
Facts.
wilding out.
Yep. You're right. Jenny, right. Rodney King. Yeah, that was my freshman year in high school. That too. Rodney King and OJ. Together. Yeah. She said, yeah, they're distracting. Marie said, yes, indeed. Jenny said, yes, they're distracting us by this nonsense. Facts.
Yeah, because
Facts.
why does all of this matter if y'all not gonna show it? Y'all not gonna play it for us to hear? So we gotta go off y'all word of mouth. We can't even make a judgment for ourselves. We going off of what y'all opinions are.
Which is completely unfair
We
to
going off
us.
of what y'all opinions are.
Mm-hmm. Bridget Moss said on the other platform, Father God, let your will be done. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody responded to her with baby oil. That, see, y'all play too much. She that was a good thing. She said, Father God, let your will be done. And then somebody got to follow it up and talking about with baby oil.
What baby oil is crazy. What
Play too
baby oil?
much, man.
Who said that? Go to sleep. Good night.
Yes. Media Corp 96. Man, they look, they
Go to
need to
sleep. Good night. Y'all play too much.
too much, man. Come on.
We
This is
trying to be
crazy.
serious, and y'all over
I-
here playing.
That's what gets me with people, man. Like, for real. This is a serious matter. It really is. And when somebody make a comment like that, she's not saying it either way. Shout out to Bridget for that. She's just saying, hey, put it in God's hand. Either way, because at the end of the day, that's really what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if we thought he was guilty or think he's guilty, and he can have all of the evidence proving that he's guilty. But at the end of the day, it's in God's name, right? So when she said, oh, she responded to that person, wow. Yeah, this is crazy. Crazy.
Very much so crazy. This is a. I'm in disbelief.
Hmm.
They not counting the stuff that really matter. They looking at the little minuscule stuff. That's the thing that's pissing me off.
Yeah, I want to know why they're not talking about the younger.
That's what I was just about to say that.
That should have led. That should have been the first thing.
That should have been the first thing.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
first thing. You know
Hmm.
why? You know why? Because most of them do it. So we're not going to get you on accounts of anything that we do. We're going to get you for stuff that we don't do.
Yeah, the Pizzagate thing, right? Yeah, so we're not gonna do that
Mhm.
because we participate in that, but we'll get you on this thing. And it's sickening. It's sickening. I really hope and pray that Justin B does take the stand. I doubt he will because he's broken right now. I don't know if he'll be able to do that. And how ironic is that? This lady Rebecca Self says, "Poor Bieber, poor B. He is going through it, guys." We and see how crazy that is. We just brought it up. Somebody said it on the other platform, but I would really want him to uh, take the stand because I think it's a lot that he could say that would
Oh
really just
yeah.
trump all of this. You know?
It's the thing is he's so battered and bruised, they got him right where they wanted him to be. So they ain't never gotta worry about him because now he's locked in himself.
Yeah, yeah. That's like Jenny said. Yeah, she's agreeing with. He needs to get help now and run away from his handler slash wife. Yeah, and he's been broken. Like Nisha saying, yeah, he's been broken, and he's in a dark place. I just if there was ever somebody who could
Did she
bring him
call her
out.
his handler? I agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean that's so on point.
That's why
I
she had
just
that baby. They keep him.
the traffic. Mm-hmm.
Because he don't want her. He wanted Selena, but Selena done moved on. He would have been better. I think they had something to do with that too with Selena Gomez. With him not being with her no more.
Well,
Besides just their issue.
maybe I think because this was the arrangement was for him to be with the what's her name he's
The
married to.
unknown, only claim to fame his parents half a year. Huh.
Yeah, her exactly. That's. I think it was designed because her family is prominent in the entertainment industry. So, I think
Who
that's
was
what
her
that
family
was.
again?
Uh, Alec Baldwin, Daniel Baldwin.
Ain't Alec Baldwin wasn't he an actor?
Yeah, he's the one that got in trouble for the pew pewing on that movie set. Russ.
Yeah, they have real
Yeah, they had live rounds. Live
yeah,
rounds.
rounds in there.
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin is her father.
Alec is the uncle.
Yeah, and Alec and Daniel. hmm They're the uncles.
Mm, mm, mm.
It's crazy. Look, and
Blown
did
away.
now did Selena Gomez chose not to take that route? Is that why she's? Because I know I ain't gonna say I know. I think Ariana Grande did fall victim to it, but I don't. I haven't seen anything about Selena Gomez. Did she decide to go against that? Hey Zay, good morning to you, brother.
You said Selena?
Yeah, Gomez, that the one that he that really Justin really wanted to be with, but I haven't seen her in. It's like I don't know if she just didn't take the.
Selena said she ain't worried about nothing. She living her life. She don't give a damn. She got
Be the light. Good morning. Good morning,
He
brother.
said, I got a kid. I'm living my life. I ain't got time for this, yo.
Stay away from the foolishness. Yeah, because I used to get confused between her and Ariana Grande, but I know Ariana was with Big Sean and then a couple of more people. And
Ariana was with Big Sean, Mac Miller, what's the
thank you,
dude
brother.
name? The same wasn't she with the dude that Kim was dating after she broke up with Kanye? He be on
Pete
SNL.
is his name Pete.
Yeah. Pete Davis,
See,
wasn't she with him?
I I'm not sure. See, I'm gonna have to look that up. Let me see. I know she's been around the industry. I don't want to say past around 'cause that sounds bad, but she's been. Uh,
Passed around. That's what it is.
she said you could just say what it is. Okay, let's see if they.
Poor thing, you know.
Yeah,
The sad thing, but
it is.
that's what happened. That's what happened. Ain't nothing we can do about it.
Oh yeah. You're right. They was together. They was engaged at one point. It said.
Mm-hmm. Who Pete and Ariana, right?
Right. You was right
Mm-hmm.
on the money with it. It says they ended up getting. They got matching tattoos.
They didn't get. I don't think they ever got a chance to get married.
No, they broke up. They broke up. Yeah, but
And
that.
there's somebody else she was with too. I can't think of who.
But again, when we say music imitating real art, their music is art imitating real life. On her
Yeah.
song, "Thank You," next,
Next. Mm-hmm.
she's telling
She
us all
started
about it.
kind of like dropping.
hmm Yeah, she did that, It's that one and 34 plus 35. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those two songs, she dropped them, and then it was like, phew. Now I know she's doing the acting in the TV show thing, but I'm talking about as far as, we mean as far as in the music industry. All right, Deb, you
Mm-hmm.
have a good day. Thank you for joining us and staying with us while you could. I'm gonna go for about another 10 minutes. We, like I said, we came on early today. I wanted to
Yeah,
play
you
the
did.
audio. Yeah, I try to place it to where I could get the two audios from what's her name? OMG, what is her name? Hold on. Uh, Khadijah, because she was talking about the victim that, like I said, that decided not to, and she was talking about the celebrity witnesses that were named yesterday. So I wanted to play those two at the beginning, get people caught up in that, and then we could, go into today's portion of the trial. So, and it worked out good. It worked out good. But and so we'll probably do the same thing tomorrow if news like that breaks today, later on today. We'll open up the show tomorrow with the news, and then just do a quick recap, and then go into the third day. This is not something that's going to be over quickly. They already saying expect 8 weeks, and then he said or more. So
Mm.
you know we in it for the long haul either way.
Is we?
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to be.
Because once we hear what we gotta hear, everybody gonna be like, "Oh, I knew it."
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Everybody gonna be like, "Mm-hmm, we knew it. This
yeah.
ain't nothing new. We've
Marie,
been saying this to y'all before y'all even knew, or act like y'all didn't know.
we
We
did.
knew."
Yeah, we knew. Marie said that she's
Mhm.
heard there's gonna be some surprises, so I want to see what the surprises are gonna be
I
as
want to
well.
see too, but we
I
ain't
know
gonna
we're
be able
not
to see
done.
nothing, y'all.
Well, hear about. That's crazy, man. We should have cameras in here so that way we can all see and know what's going on, and then we can make a judgment. Right now, like I said, we just gotta go off hearsay. So
Yeah, I'm tired of going off of hearsay. Let us know what's happening. What's the tea?
right, right, because I need a big
What's
picture
the
of it.
tea? Because I need to be able to make the right judgment call.
Yeah, Poison Ivy says Black Lives Matter, y'all.
It do. We wish they would understand that too. But I ain't gonna say nothing else.
She said, and that's that, right? But yeah, that's we'll see. We'll see how it's gonna go. There still haven't been any more updates as of 8 a.m. today. So I'm assuming the jury selection is still going on. The questionnaire is being read now. For those who don't know,
They gonna send
it's a
me
little
jury
different.
duty out here where I live. They should have sent me jury duty to do that. I would have did that right for
Yeah,
that case. I'd have
listen.
definitely did jury duty for that one.
Do you know the people who get selected? And then they brought this up yesterday, and I wholeheartedly believe this. Do you know that the people that get selected to be jurors on this trial, they're gonna have book deals afterwards. They're gonna be set for life. They're gonna
That's
have
not
book deals.
right. I want to be a part of that life. Well, no, I don't
she
want to
said,
be a part of that life.
she said, "Not if I got to do those things, but I do
Yeah,
it the right way."
yeah.
you know,
But
but
still,
yeah, it'd be a nice listen. Listen, let's be honest. It'd be good to have that because they haven't done. They wasn't at the parties. They just jurors. You
yeah.
know,
They
so
got the best. They got the best bargain of the deal. You writing a book about a court appearance. You don't know. You wasn't there for
right,
none of the book BS. Come on now,
right. You got out scot free. So he
scot
said they're gonna
free.
be set up
You
just
ain't had
scot
to
free.
sell nothing, shake
Nothing.
nothing, do nothing
Grab it.
else for nothing.
Nothing. Ain't nobody had to
All you had to
violate you.
do was
Nothing.
just sit there and listen and say whether guilty or innocent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we are gonna have to rely on their statements because they are all the tea because they are the one that's in the courtroom. They got to see and hear everything. You know.
If they were
So
smart, if they were smart, best bet, best thing to do would be for them to what do you call it? They should all write a book and give it from everybody's perspective and put it together.
Oh yeah, like a compilation book.
Yes,
Yeah,
like a compilation book.
yeah, that'd be the bestseller. I'm telling you, I have no doubts that'd be the NY bestseller because this everybody wants to know. They because there's so many
Because
things. It's like
it's not gonna be televised. It's not gonna be no audio of it. Y'all can't sneak and do audio of it. You can go to jail. So we already know that's not gonna happen.
right, right. Marie says that's smart. Yep. Jenny says have a mini series. Even I think that's gonna come too. You right. I think that's gonna come too. I think this is not only gonna be books. I think they're gonna make movies. I think it's gonna be a mini series. I
It's gonna
think
be a
all of
whole
it's gonna
bunch of
come.
stuff with this. Watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that they're gonna profit off this as much as
Yeah, oh
possible.
yeah, they gonna get their money worth. They gonna
Hmm.
get their money worth off this
Yeah,
man. You
they
gonna
gonna make
tap
the
dance for
proverbial
peanuts?
cow.
You gonna tap dance for peanuts today?
We got you right where we want
Right where we want you. So have a
you. And
blessed one.
he's legit at their mercy. So
Yeah.
you know, okay, now I can't see the front of the courthouse because the delivery truck is in the way. Traffic. It's New York, and so it's traffic. Um,
When does his hearing start?
next Monday.
Mm. I should drive over there.
You should, cause and do your live so I can come on your phone. I want to be there.
I should
Right,
drive over
Carlos? Like the
there.
OJ one. Exactly. Exactly. See, I mean, OJ still making money.
Because it's gonna be in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah. No, it's in Manhattan.
Oh, it's in Manhattan. Even better.
Closer. Yeah. 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 It's just right across the bridge, ain't it? So,
Mm-hmm. Right
uh,
across, right there.
I'm thinking. I was like, it didn't take us long to get there at all when we was up there. So, and we was in Brick City, so we just drove across the bridge and was there. And then where we was staying, we was literally across the street from Allstate Arena. So we would just walk to the what you call it, the terminal, and,
Mm-hmm.
and ride the train into New York. So man, all right, y'all. Well, look, we gonna end it now. It's quiet, but we'll be back tomorrow doing the same thing. It's gonna get listen. It's gonna gain some steam. All right, we just got to get the
It's
jurors
gonna
in
gain
here.
a lot of steam, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna take off. Look, next Tuesday, next Monday, it's you know. But right now we're just doing the jury selection. That's all they're doing. So we getting it's just like the filler out part of the process. Oh, you want to hit 40K? Okay, okay, let's go, let's go. We can hit 40K before we close out. Let's get that 40K, people. We at 39.5. I believe we can do it. And once again, while we're doing that, I want to thank each and every one of you. Let's give it up for my panelists, my niece. Appreciate her. Who else was on here? Liz. Didn't we have one more person on the panel? Oh yeah, my cousin. My cousin. He never came back, but my cousin. Thank all of y'all for coming up and being on the panel. My gifters and likers. Yeah, absolutely. And and my wonderful team of moderators. Thank you all. Cousin, thank you for that perfume. I appreciate that gift. Thank you so much. Hey, you all, go have fun today, but let's come back here tomorrow morning. Now, I want you all to share it with people because listen, we got 40.7 40,700 likes today. Thank you so much for that. Over here, we actually hit at one point. Our high was
You're gonna have to
58
pay something.
people.
I'll pay something, but I'm not paying
58
no
people.
$4.
Let's see if we can double that tomorrow. Because I know y'all can help me do it. I know we can do it together. Come on. I think we can do it. So let's go ahead and let's share it out. Let's invite people to come join us and let's just have fun. Carlos says, I had got kind of bummed out on the Diddy case for a minute, but it's that time back on it. Yeah, I get it. It was drawn out. I get it, brother. It was drawn out and like going slow and everything. But now we at the goal line. This is what we did all that work to get to where we at right now. So We're gonna do it, man. We're gonna do it. So let's meet back here tomorrow. Listen. I say we're gonna start at 10, but it may be earlier. Just stay on lookout, okay? Real Zay Honcho, how you doing? Salute to you, my brother. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Jenny. That's right. You can always catch it if you miss, go on YouTube. Look up G Smooth 404. I'll post it on there. Matter of fact, I got a couple I need to post. And then that way you can all catch it on there. Okay. Um, enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, and let's try to come and reconvene here tomorrow. All right. I love you all.
All
Thank you.
right,
Thank you.
have a good day.
You too, love.